This episode of Chow is brought to you by Mandarin Napoleon. Stay tuned after the episode to learn how to make Mbeya's own whiskey sour.
Chow loves comforting Southern meals, and today we're at Carriage House talking with chef and owner Mark Steuer all about his modern low-country fare. All right, Mark, thanks for having us here at Carriage House today.
Glad you're here.
Thanks for having us. What are we going to drink here? These look, mine looks really potent.
It's good, not so potent. These are two of our new cocktails. This is Guns of the Navarone. So it's rye, Angostura bitters, Carpano Antica, which is a vermouth, and then a little Averna. And this is actually my favorite cocktail on the menu. It's called Signs and Whispers. It's 7-year-old rum, grapefruit juice, honey, lemon, and Angostura bitters.
Well, creative names. Let's trace.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, okay, not as potent as I thought, but it's delicious.
It's well balanced,
Sweet.
right?
Yeah. So tell me about your background. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. So it's called the Low Country, which is kind of what we based this restaurant off of. It's called the Low Country because it's actually below sea level.
Okay.
So the thing I think is different about the food there is there's lots of French and Spanish influence, lots of seafood. Everyone thinks, Southern food is fried chicken and barbecue.
Right.
And that's just not the way we ate growing up.
What is your restaurant background? Where are the places that you've kind of led up to before here?
I started working in Madison, Wisconsin after college, and then my first job in Chicago was hot chocolate.
Ah,
I worked
good
there
restaurant.
for about 6 years. Worked my way up from line cook to executive chef.
And Mindy's awesome.
Yeah,
to
Mindy's the
work with.
best. Yeah, she still helps us with dessert actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. After that, I worked at the Gauge. I helped some friends open a place called Rootstock in Humboldt Park. Then we opened the Bedford, which is right down the street. And then just this year, Carriage House.
All right, so let's talk about Carriage House. You talked about that low country cuisine. How do you bring that into the menu here?
Well, we try to get as much as we can directly from South Carolina. All of our grits and cornmeal and the shrimp and fish and clams, it all comes up 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
But basically we wanted to show people, like I was saying, that Southern food doesn't have to be heavy and everything deep fried.
Yeah.
There's a lot of seafood to it, a lot of vegetables. So basically we take all the ingredients from down south and use what we've learned over the last couple of years of cooking to kind of modernize the traditional food of Charleston.
How have you brought kind of your other restaurant experience into this new one?
It's cooking. We're cooking really familiar Southern food, but using a lot of technique that you would use in other cuisines. Like we do a dish with it's almost like an Italian arancini, but with Carolina gold rice and pimento cheese. So using lots of fun techniques and things we're into, but making it kind of adapt to Southern food.
So from that menu, what would be a typical thing that I could order that would really feature that low country type of ingredients?
I think 2 of the things that we have kind of updated the best are our cornbread and our shrimp and grits. We worked on the cornbread recipe for about 2 weeks, and it's a little bit sweeter than the traditional cornbread, but also more moist. And then we serve it with preserved apples on top and smoked foie gras butter.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little bit more upscale than you'd be used to, yeah.
For sure.
And then the shrimp and grits is something that it's one of the first things I ever learned how to cook. And so ours, we get our grits from Geechee Boy Mills in South Carolina. And then it's Georgia white prawns, all with homemade tasso ham. And then we call it a hunter gravy. It's basically mushrooms and shrimp stock and pork stock and chicken stock, kind of reduced down until it's a really, really savory, kind of brothy sauce on top.
That sounds
it's
delicious.
really, really good.
Anything with ham in it is pretty good.
Ham's always killer.
Yeah. So what could be a cocktail besides the 2 that we're tasting today that we could kind of match with that?
We do a rum punch that's based off of a really old book from Charleston called Charleston Receipts.
Okay.
That's probably pretty good with it. We also focus a lot on white wine because I think dry French white wine pairs really well with this kind of food because it has enough acidity and fruit to kind of cut through all the richness. Yeah,
Perfect.
so we like to focus on that.
All right, well, I would love to eat my way through all of the menu, but I'm definitely going to try the shrimp and grits.
Try some today, you come back next time.
For sure.
Awesome.
Well, thank you
Cheers.
for having us.
Thanks for coming
Cheers.
in. Appreciate it.
My name is Danielle, and I'm the beverage director here at Mbeya. Today we're making a whiskey sour, Mbeya style. And we're also working with Mandarin Napoleon. This is an orange liqueur. They distill a high-proof alcohol with mandarin orange, which is actually a Chinese citrus. And then once it's finished, they add cognac to it. So it's got a lot of spice to it, some depth, some caramel, a little bit of vanilla. We're going to start with an egg white. And once you have your egg white, you can start building your flavors. So we're gonna add a little bit of sweetness. So I've got a little turbinado sugar here. I'll come in with rye. We need a little bit of spice here. And then the citrus today we're using is a mandarin quat. So I've juiced a lot here, and we're gonna give it a good ounce. We've got some house-made bitters. You wanna do a dry beat first. Wipe it clean, then you wanna add your ice next. Wrap it up. Protect your guests. Give it a good shake. So you'll see a little bit of froth, and what happens is once your cocktail sits, when you have an egg white, you'll see a really beautiful sort of distinct layering effect. And there you go, for all thirsty patrons. Cheers.